blessing that taught us to learn and be in a pillar of rest. The 144,000, the 1/3, the hopeful elect of Israel. I'm the brother Yahshua, back with the WW3 Daily Update. Shalom and salutations to you as well. War and rumors of War Tuesday. Finally, we're synchronized again. What we do is we read Matthew 24:6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Okay? Then what we do is we read some of these different versions, and we take out some of these different terms. You will hear of wars and rumors of war. NLT says wars and threats of wars. Got rumors and threats, and then you scroll down, and now you got battles and reports. Okay, so we got rumors, threats, and reports, and what else? And news of battles far away. So we got news, reports, threats, and rumors. With that, go to redacted 18 hours ago. Israel is losing. Is this a rumor? Or is this news? Or is this a report? Or is this a threat? This war, Israel is losing this war, and Netanyahu is done. Is that a threat? Former U.S. Marine Scott Ritter. I like Scott Ritter. I think he's pretty fair and balanced. He's telling you the truth. And you might not agree with him, and you might not agree with me. So, carry on. Listen to Scott for a while, let him give the update from his perspective. You can disagree with it if you want to. Take it away, Scott.
Well, the number of children killed in Gaza now sits over 4,000, according to the Palestinian Health Ministry.
That's Clayton, by the way. Natalie and Clayton Morris are protected.
Close to 10,000 people killed in a month of continuous Israeli airstrikes. Newly released satellite images are just stunning to look at this morning. Shows what Gaza looked like before and what it looks like now. Take a look at these images. And this weekend, an Israeli heritage minister said in an interview that dropping a nuclear bomb on Gaza was a possibility. And he said that there's no such thing as a civilian, that everyone is basically involved in the October 7th terrorist attacks, in his words. So those 4,000 children, they are also part of this. They are also part of the attacks, I guess, these 4,000 children. Let's try to unpack this, because there's a lot of moving pieces this morning that I want to try to understand here. Let's bring in United Nations Weapons Inspector Scott Ritter. Scott, great to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me.
So Israeli officials today, I'll just kind of give you what their words are, Scott. These are not my words. Saying Israeli officials today have called these civilian casualties, they're aware of them, they're calling them, quote, the tragedy of war, end quote. They also say their response, which includes this expanding ground operation in Gaza, is necessary to root out and destroy Hamas after what happened on October 7th. So these 4,000 children, let's talk about that number. First of all, do you feel confident in that number? Because what obviously people online will say is, how can you trust what the Palestinian Health Authority has to say about this number? Does that number sound right to you based on your own sourcing and the upwards of 10,000 overall killed so far in these Israeli strikes?
The number actually sounds low. Let's keep in mind that that number doesn't include the missing. That these are the bodies counted. There are many thousands more missing. When a building goes down, they're in the rubble. For all those Americans out there that rally around 9/11, you know what happened with those buildings when they came down. How difficult it was to account for the numbers. It's happening right now. This is what's happening is a war crime of unimaginable scope and scale. I mean, no, first of all, it is imaginable. It's real. It's happening. It's not unimaginable. It's right there in front of us, guys. They're literally leveling a city. They're leveling, neighborhoods filled with civilians. This is the most despicable behavior imaginable. But it's not. It wasn't unpredictable. Clayton, Israel since 2006 has articulated this very policy. Why is the world only waking up now to the fact that it is official Israeli policy to punish the civilian population of an entity that they have violent disagreement with? In 2006, the commander of Israeli forces in the north, when fighting Hezbollah, instituted what he called the Dahiwa principle. Dahiwa is a neighborhood in West Beirut that was leveled by Israel, leveled, flattened. They slaughtered the civilian population there because he said they will pay the price for Hezbollah daring to stand up and beat our troops on the ground. See, Israel can't do a fair fight, man on man, soldier against soldier. They can't do that because if they do that, they lose. The only way Israel can win is to collectively punish the civilian population in a vain effort to get them to submit. It didn't work in 2006. It didn't work in 2008 when they instituted the Dahiwa principle on Gaza for the first time. 2010, 2014, 2018, 2020, 2021, and now 2023. It's been going on forever. The Israelis are the greatest mass murderers in modern history. That's the truth.
So when you have this, what's being portrayed as sort of this errant heritage minister from Israel, who then Netanyahu suspends this weekend for saying they would drop a nuclear bomb on Gaza, that's not really an errant heritage minister. That is really a sentiment that is carried by many Israelis. I've spoken to a number of Israelis who've told me specifically they feel the same exact way, that there is no daylight at all between Hamas and Palestinians in their mind, and they feel that there is no solution but the destruction and the wiping out of Gaza. Those are their words telling us that.
Well, the only thing that this minister was errant for was openly acknowledging the existence of an Israeli nuclear weapons program. That's what he's in trouble for, not for articulating in favor of the death of Palestinian civilians. It's official Israeli policy to kill Palestinians officially. He would never get in trouble for that. Why? I mean, we have the Minister of Defense of Israel saying the same thing. We have the Chief of Staff of the Army saying the same thing over and over again. How if you didn't take advantage of the nice little leaflet dropped by the Israelis telling you to move south, you are treated as an enemy combatant. That is an open, gross violation of international law. Why the United States continues to have diplomatic relations with Israel right now is beyond me. Because if any other nation behaved this way, we would sever relations, we would hold them to account. There would be hell to pay. But because Israel has literally bought out the U.S. Congress, and Clayton, this isn't anti-Semitism speaking, Benjamin Netanyahu openly brags about this. AIPAC openly, that's the American-Israeli Public Affairs Committee, the pro-Israeli lobby that dominates Washington, D.C., they openly brag about owning Congress. When the current Speaker of the House made his first presentation to a nation waiting for congressional leadership to resolve the numerous issues that befuddle our country, the first thing he said, the first order of business, was money to Israel. So here we are with Israel behaving in the worst way possible, and we do nothing about it. Shame on us. I mean, we know what Israel's going to do. They told us what they're going to do. They've done it. This is not unprecedented. It's what Israel does. It's not what we do.
Is the Biden administration willfully ignorant about it? Because Kamala Harris this weekend, of course, comes out and says, she posted an Instagram video where she says, we're going to make sure that they're really taking care of and protecting civilians. We're making sure, we're monitoring that, making sure that they're going to protect civilians, and we're working with them on that. And that's a concern of ours. And I've heard that from a number of Biden's administration officials at the State Department last week saying the same thing, that we're confident that Israel is making sure that civilians won't be harmed in this. So that's it, Scott. That's all you need to know. Kamala Harris has spoken. They're confident that no civilians will be harmed in this.
Yeah, and yet we continue to fly C-17 aircraft into Israel, offloading the munitions that are used by the Israeli Air Force, flying American-provided aircraft to slaughter these Palestinian civilians. Kamala Harris is a liar, a hypocrite, but she's a politician. Her lips move. She lies. Joe Biden, the same thing. Look, I can guarantee you this: that it's someday down the road when archives are declassified, you will be seeing the hypocrisy of the Biden administration in full view. As behind the scenes, they are having conversations, and I guarantee you what the conversations are. They're very critical of Israel. How can they do this? Bibi's gone crazy. He's gone wild. He won't listen to us. There's nothing we can do. Well, there is something you can do, Kamala. Terminate all assistance to Israel. Terminate it right now. Tell the Israelis not another airplane lands until there's a ceasefire. And during that ceasefire, get all the humanitarian aid into Gaza that needs. And during that ceasefire, an American delegation will come to Israel and take over your targeting cell. You will.
All right. As you can see, this thing is not going nowhere. All right. This guy here is doing his own thing. Or is he? What is he doing? Look at one precept and we'll go ahead and close out. This is Proverbs 21. Proverbs 21:1. And here we have Bibi Netanyahu. King Bibi is what they call him. Right? The king, Proverbs 21:1. The king's heart, meaning his mind, is in the hand of the Lord. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. So the king is Bibi, King Bibi. His heart is his mind. The Lord is Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And who's turning it? Yahweh is turning what? The king's mind, Bibi's mind. Bibi is being mind controlled. Let's get that real quick. And I'll show you that he's King Bibi, right? Where are we at? Good news. The Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, controls the mind. See this word heart? The king's heart, right? The mind of a king is his heart. See that? Heart, heart, heart. King's heart. It's his mind. Lob. The Hebrew word lob. Okay? Lob. Here we have mind control. Right? Well, who's controlling? Supreme, right? Supreme being. Mind, not MK Ultra, MK, in this case it's C. Supreme. Get it? Now let's get this on the way out. Not that. Not that. This. Just type this in and see what comes up. King. B. B. Who's that? Who's this? Why does this come up? Let's just type that in. King Bibi. Look at this. The life and look at this. You can just go here. Why? When we type in King Bibi, right? That's what they call him. They call him Bibi, right? Benjamin Netanyahu. Why does he come up when you put King Bibi? I didn't make that up. He's the king. King Bibi. Who's it talking about? This guy. Now, go back, read Proverbs again. And it says, King Bibi, his heart is in the hand of God. All right? It's that simple. So with that, I'm just having a little fun. Don't get your panties in. With that, we hope that the elect edified you, brother Jesus. That would say shalom.